This is Daily Armenia, ＳիվիլNeթ's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. A Sunday night concert by American pop star Jennifer Lopez in Yerevan has sparked a public outcry over the Armenian government's use of state funds to finance the event. According to an investigation by Radio Free Europe's Armenian service, the government reallocated $6 million from its 2023 budget to fund the performance. The money was originally earmarked for a Snoop Dogg concert, but was called off as Azerbaijan launched its one-day offensive of Karabakh, which resulted in the complete depopulation of the region just days before the scheduled performance. The detailed budget for the Lopez event included $37,000 for her two-day food expenses and tens of thousands more for staff roles. The figures have triggered backlash in a country where public services face chronic underfunding. As the funding details became public, government supporters and critics clashed online. TV presenter Petros Hazaryan said that the demand for positive emotions is just as natural as the pain of our losses, implying critics were politicizing the celebration. But public backlash has been fierce. Blogger Gor Madoyan condemned the event as mindless governance and embezzlement of public funds. Poland is considering requesting an exemption from the European Union's Schengen rules to reintroduce visa requirements for citizens of several countries, including Armenia. According to a report by Polish media outlet RMF, the move is part of Warsaw's broader response to heightened security concerns linked to Russian intelligence activities. Polish Deputy Interior Minister Czesław Mroczek said in an interview with the publication. While Mroczek did not name specific countries, RMF, citing its sources in the Interior Ministry, reported that the planned restrictions would target nationals of Georgia, Venezuela, Colombia, and Armenia. However, Armenian citizens are required to obtain visas to travel to Poland and other EU countries, and do not benefit from any visa-free regime. These are not just random countries, RMF said. Georgian gangs have become very active in recent months, for example, in Warsaw. Armenia also ranks high in crime statistics, the outlet claimed, without providing any figures or further explanation for Armenia's inclusion. The proposal follows a series of recent arrests in Poland linked to alleged Russian espionage and sabotage plots. As Polish radio reported last week, authorities detained 32 individuals accused of collaborating with Russian intelligence, including Russian, Ukrainian, and at least one Polish citizen. Additionally, a 27-year-old Colombian man faces a possible life sentence in the country for a string of arson attacks in May 2024. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, speaking Thursday on TVN24, confirmed plans to tighten entry rules. Citizens of former Soviet republics are, for obvious reasons, more vulnerable to recruitment by Russian intelligence services, he said, without referring to Armenia or any specific country. Armenia is currently engaged in complex negotiations with the European Union over visa liberalization, aiming to secure visa-free travel for its citizens. It remains unclear whether Poland's potential policy shift would translate into opposition to Armenia's bid. Despite the Polish publication's claims, Armenia does not have a high crime rate. In fact, it was rated 8th safest country in the world by Numbeo, a quality of life statistics platform, both this year and in 2024. The US Department of State also places Armenia in its safest travel category, level 1, indicating no special precautions are needed, unlike neighboring Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Georgia, which are ranked lower. Armenia's government has approved an investment project allowing a company co-owned by a close friend of Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan to acquire public land without competitive bidding, sparking concerns over transparency and favoritism. According to an investigation by HETK, a local independent outlet, the decision was made last Thursday without public discussion and authorized a firm called Yerevan Bacon to expand pig farming operations in the Armenia province. The company received 2 plots through direct sale and a third through long-term lease, bypassing the auction process that is typically required for public land transfers. The firm's main shareholder, Ukrainian-Armenian businessman Frunze Hazaryan, is a longtime friend of Pashinyan from their shared hometown of Yerevan. Hazaryan's family has previously financed infrastructure and charity projects in the town, while his brother Andranik has appeared at events alongside government allies. Yerevan Bacon plans to invest around $5 million to build a farm producing over 2,000 tons of pork annually and creating 49 jobs. Nearly half the amount has already been invested, and the company requested 15.2 additional hectares for expansion. However, several government bodies raised red flags. The Ministry of Finance warned that skipping competitive bidding undermines fair competition. The Cadastral Committee cited illegal construction on the site, and the Ministry of Environment questioned whether proper environmental reviews had been conducted. Despite these concerns, the Ministry of Territorial Administration dismissed the objections and approved the deal. Armenian law allows direct land sales for government-approved investment programs, but critics argue the opaque process enables politically connected businesses to benefit without proper oversight. The second shareholder, a Vanadzor native Sanasar Kuyumchan, is also active in Ukraine's pig farming sector and has ties to pro-European political circles. This week in our Business Weekly Digest, Armenia's 1,000 largest companies paid nearly $2.6 billion in taxes in the first half of the year, a 9.5% increase from the same period in 2024. The government has also approved a new export strategy, aiming to boost exports by 70% by 2030, with more than $255 million in public funding allocated for the effort. And Armenia's biggest bank, Archin Bank, has confirmed its bid to acquire HSBC's subsidiary in Malta after taking over HSBC's Armenian operations last year. Watch the full episode by following the link in the description. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.